Welcome back to Que-pasa-Nashville. My name is Cristina Allen, and I'm having a great conversation with David Plazas and Jaime Cárdenas with the Tennessean, and talking about the recent feature article acknowledging on the front page Hispanic Heritage Month here in Nashville, Tennessee, and the growth of our Latino community. We've repeatedly said in 25 years, 34% of Latinos in Davidson County, 34% of the population will be Latinos. And those are like my grandchildren, and there's going to be, our family members that are moving here, U.S. born and so forth. So again, thank you for that article. It had depth. It gave us a beautiful light. I think people surprised of how many professional Latinos are here. Do you find that you run into that at all?
Certainly, initially there's some surprise because in some cases, some people have never been exposed to someone who's been a professional, who's wearing a tie, who's Latino, because their experiences have been maybe someone who's been in domestic service or construction. And it's true, Latinos are overrepresented in many of those jobs, for sure, but there's also a diversity of jobs opportunities, whether it's in journalism or in the auto industry or the finance industry or even the creative industry. There are Latino country musicians as well.
I think you mentioned earlier in our break, we're talking about how many Nissan, how their other headquarters is in Aguascalientes, Mexico, and they have a very diverse community here.
One of the first people I met here, was an engineer from Nissan from Juarez at the Nashville Sounds game of all places. Our kids are the same age, and we heard them speaking Spanish, so we went over there. They talked to Spanish, and then we find out that he's an engineer, top-level engineer for Nissan. It's just amazing.
And he was probably hungry to meet someone like you because just the language or the bonding that occurs there. In some of your featured article, like we talked earlier about some of the people you featured. People have been here a long time, and there's still so many more that have done amazing things, and I know you're going to continue this series.
We definitely will. We had a story and also an editorial a few weeks ago about the impact of immigrants in Tennessee, and really there's a positive impact. 5% of the state now is made up of immigrants, and they are overrepresented when it comes to productivity, to workforce, and also jobs that many people do not want, like in construction or agriculture or in low-skilled jobs as well, but there are also those professionals as well. And this is an opportunity for us, for example, to tout the newsletter. And Jaime, if you could talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, you have a new newsletter in Spanish coming out with the Tennessean.
Yeah, we're just starting out, rolling out a phase of a digital, bilingual newsletter that'll, so if people are interested in these stories and interested in these stories to have them in Spanish also, they can go to thetennessean.com and be able to sign up for a newsletter. We'll be sharing that link directly with you so you can put it up on your Facebook page.
We'd love to.
And people can sign up that way. They can get the information delivered straight to their email. All these stories that we talked about, all the stories that we'll be continuing doing, will be available there. This weekend we'll have a story about Selena and her connection to Nashville.
And explain who Selena is.
Selena Quintanilla, la reina de la música tejano, the queen of Tejano music.
I grew up with her music. I know it all.
Very iconic personality for the Latino and Hispanic community. She was she's canonized by Jennifer Lopez in the movie Selena. Everybody remembers that she was tragically killed by the president of her fan club. 3 days before she died, she had finished recording what ended up being the first track of her only English language album, I Could Fall in Love with You, here in Nashville.
That's huge. That's huge. I mean, yeah, we hear Shakira's been here, but Selena, who's iconic, born in Texas, raised, in the Rio Grande Valley, so iconic for Latinos who had a following not just in the United States but in Mexico too. Like they made it. And yes, Jennifer Lopez made that movie famous, but to know that she was even been in Nashville was just really rare to know that way back then.
Yeah. So I invite all your viewers to go open up the Tennessean on Sunday and read that article, share it with people, and sign up for the newsletter so they can get it delivered straight to their link. Because I think they're going to find this is a story that is not widely known, and not a lot of people know that Selena was here recording that song. Not a lot of people know that she interacted with certain country music singers while she was here, and we'll get to hear from the producer himself who wrote the song as well, and just how heartbreaking it was. He knew that Selena was a talented person. They recorded the song and he's like, this person is going to be something really huge, really famous. and then he gets a call 3 days later that she's dead.
And she's still very significant in our community. So as you go and look for stories like that, and you continue to see who's been here and who's coming, we have to kind of remind our viewers of how many are here. How many Latinos are in Tennessee? Do we have that number?
We do. So in terms of Davidson County, we have about 66,000 Latinos. And I'm wanting to say that it's about 2.5% of the Tennessee population, so I'll have to do the math and get that to you,
And
but
I'll
it's
tell you,
several hundred thousand. The
go ahead.
growth, though, has grown by almost 900% from 1980 to 2014.
I think that scares people, and yet is also embraced. I mean, that is a huge growth because it grew fast. It didn't grow subtly. It grew fast.
One of the things to remind viewers, too, is that the reason Latinos came here were for job opportunities. They came here to work.
Yes.
And they came here to feed their families, and many of them have made this beautiful community their home. Like ourselves, this is now our home, and it's an opportunity to really contribute to the community. And by and large, Latinos are overrepresented in terms of workforce, productivity, and really wanting to create these strong fabrics.
Do you find that? I know we're still growing as a city. Mayor Berry is just opening up her arms to our diverse community, not just Latinos, which is a second minority here, but our Muslim community, our Indian community, our Asian community. It's growing. They're still under the radar, but it's still growing, and they're here and making significant contributions. But as we look, and you being in different cities, very predominantly Latino cities, what are we missing? I mean, do you miss something that we don't have?
So,
is it the culture? Is it the food?
So I was so happy the first time I discovered, it was 10 months into living here, Cuban food.
Okay.
Because being in South Florida, you could get it anywhere, and it was delicious. And so I felt very homesick for a long time. So I found back to Cuba, which is on Trousdale and
Trousdale and Harding.
And I've been back many, many times. I took my mother when she was visiting, so we went and had some food, and it's delicious.
Great. How about you?
I can easily say TJ style tacos, but there's no place that has them like Tijuana. But I will say, if anyone knows of a place that sells carne asada fries here in Nashville, I'm all for it.
Okay, well, we're going to find that for you all and stuff. But again, we are growing. It's the new community. And as I look, I remember I want, from green chili, chile rellenos. And, it's different within all Latin America's food and as music. We have a couple of dance bars late at night that we can do salsa or any type of music. We have a lot of norteño music, which is more the northern part, and it's a type of music, banda music for the Latino community. We have 4 Spanish radio stations, 5 with a Christian station. We have 6 Spanish newspapers, and so I see more of the corporate America coming in, wanting to be part of it because they understand the economic opportunities or incremental sales getting out of that.
Sure. One of the things that businesses can do is really look at that market. When I was in South Florida, there was a Ford dealership that was very smart, spent 20% of its budget on Spanish language marketing, and it paid off for them. And especially when it came down to Ford 150 trucks, because those were very popular among the Mexican market that was there. And
it's funny because Nissan is the #1 selling car in Mexico, but when they come to the United States, they want that Ford or that Chevy to be all American. So I think it's kind of...
and that's a value for Nissan being here. That's a big opportunity for them.
And then we're going to have the big Mexican national soccer team. And how do you feel about that with your LA Galaxy experience?
It was actually very funny that 2 days after I accepted this job, that game was announced, and I know a lot of people working behind the scenes on that game because I worked with them when I was at MLS. I was like, okay, so I'm leaving Los Angeles, and right off the bat, the Mexican soccer team is going to be there. I mean, that
so you'll
is...
be at home with some friends and stuff like that.
That was very great. I think it goes right along with the line. I mean, and they would not have come here just because. They came here because they see the growth in the Latino population in Nashville, and they know that's there's people that want to feel that connection to home, so that's why the Mexican national team's coming here.
I think it's going to sell amazing.
Yeah.
I think people are going to be surprised. You guys, thank you both for being on the show.
You.
David, welcome. Continued your Cuban love and share with us. Jaime, welcome. And I know with Tijuana, being that I'm from the border city of Juarez, El Paso, I understand, and I'll find that food for you. But continue just to highlight the beauty and opportunities and challenges that we all bring to Middle Tennessee, both professionally and our workforce, because that's going to be our future.
Thank you for everything you do.
Thank you very
Gracias.
much. Muchas gracias, and thank you for joining Que-pasa-Nashville as we talk about the opportunities and challenges of Latinos in Middle Tennessee, but also the international community we're becoming. Join us each week. Gracias.